Tonight, cracks on the labor front. Trades Union Congress declares it cannot back the indefinite nationwide strike called by the Civil and Local Government Staff Association, which is crippling government business across the country.
I cannot confirm supporting or not supporting because I've not even gotten the details of the reasons why they are on strike. I will have to liaise with their leadership, and if need be for us to support, we will. Because if you touch one worker, you have touched all workers.
We have details as government summons CLOGSAG for an urgent meeting as confusion erupts on CLOGSAG's own front, with some members defying the strike directive.
If you come, you will see a lot of people coming in and going up and down. But looking at the situation now, it's just dull. Everything is standstill. So no one in the office. Right now I'm talking to you.
We have details here on Top Story. Top Story, as always, is brought to you by Telecel, connecting energies and holy insecticide spray and coil. Enjoy a holy sleep. My name is Fostina. Sarfo, please stay for details. Tonight, there are cracks on the labor front. The Trades Union Congress has just declared it cannot back the indefinite nationwide strike called by the Civil and Local Government Staff Association just yet, which is crippling government business across the country. Government is now calling a high-level meeting with leaders of the association as the strike begins to disrupt public administration, leaving many Ghanaians struggling to access key government services. The industrial action is in protest against what CLOGSAG describes as persistent delays in implementing its agreed conditions of service. The association insists the strike follows several unsuccessful attempts to engage government on the matter. This is despite an order from the National Labour Commission directing CLOGSAG to suspend the strike and return to the negotiation table. However, the association has instructed members nationwide to disregard the directive and proceed with the action. Across the country, the strike is already biting hard, with many unable to access essential government services. But we'll be listening to our colleagues on the ground. They have actually been visiting most of the offices that would normally be in operation because CLOGSAG members are now on an indefinite strike, and so they are unavailable to access services. We will be touching base with them shortly. We understand that the Trades Union Congress says it is unsure why CLOGSAG is on strike. The General Secretary of TUC, Joshua Ansah, says they were not even informed about the strike. He spoke to my colleague, Rafiq Salam.
Now, as for strike, I don't want to talk about strike for now because strikes come with a reason. No worker will just wake up one day and say, I'm going on strike without any reason. If a worker says he's on strike, then there's something chasing that worker from somewhere. They will need a solution.
So, you are coming from the TUC?
I'm coming from the TUC, the umbrella body. And I think that I want to tell all workers that it's not as easy and as joyous as people feel, but I think that with resilience and dedication to work, we will overcome all the challenges, if not all.
So this Kenneth strike you supported?
Which one?
The Kenneth strike by CLOGSAG you supported?
I cannot confirm supporting or not supporting because I've not even gotten the details of the reasons why they are on strike. I will have to liaise with their leadership, and if need be for us to support, we will. Because if you touch one worker, you have touched all workers.
Well, you had there the General Secretary of TUC, Joshua Ansah, just engaging my colleague Rafik Salam. Now, here in the Greater Accra region, many offices have been shut, with many people unable to access some of the offices. My colleague Stephen Mensah has been on the ground engaging some of the individuals who came to access services and are stranded. He joins us live with more. Stephen, you're on the ground. What can you report?
Well, Fostina, it's a bit of compliance and defiance from most of the offices and institutions we visited. We visited the Ministry of Waste and Housing and Water Resources, the Ministry of Youth Development and Empowerment, and the Passport Office also would visit the Registrar General's Department. What we noticed at the Ministry of Waste and Housing and Water Resources will be that there's no one present. What you notice will be just the security personnel present on site at the ministry. However, at the Ministry of Youth Development and Empowerment, what you notice will be that the staff are present. However, there's no work being done. And what we would understand will be they were given the information on Thursday that there's a strike going to happen today. So they are present, but there's no work being done. However, as the Passport Office, there's work ongoing. We understand the director was present and was on site in her office and was engaging in the normal business, day-to-day activities ongoing at the Passport Office. And they say they've not been given any information as to whether a strike is happening or not. So they are going about their normal businesses. However, at the Registrar General's Department, you see people stranded. And for all people who come to the Registrar General's Department, they are turned away because they say they're on a strike. However, it's pretty interesting because at the Registrar General's Department, you notice that the office of the Registrar of Companies is also present at the Registrar General's Department. So you see people there. However, if you are going to visit the Registrar General's Department, there's no way you are going to be served. You'll be turned away.
And I know that you've also been doing some checks, Stephen. I know that there is currently a meeting ongoing between members of CLOGSAG and government. You are also keeping your eyes on that. What do we know?
Currently, they're in a meeting currently. We understand it's CLOGSAG and some executives from government also. However, we are yet to get details as to what the communication will be as to whether or not the strike will be suspended for now, or whether there will be an amicable solution to the strike from both ends.
And this meeting is happening where exactly?
It's happening at the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission's office in Laboni.
I see. Thank you, Stephen. Well, we'll be going back to you when we have updates on that. Let's take you now to the Ashanti region, where offices are also closed. My colleague Clinton Yeboah has been doing some checks at the offices. He joins us live with more. Clinton, how are things at the various offices you visited?
Mama, I must say the strike is in full effect in the Ashanti region. I have visited municipal assemblies and some ministries and departments under CLOGSAG, and all of them seem to be engaged fully in the strike, particularly in the municipalities that I visited, especially Asokwa municipality. The offices were closed. In fact, not a single staff or government worker was around. I met just one person who says he's a driver of the director, and when the director leaves, he would have no choice but to close down the office. In fact, when we got there, right from the entrance, we were met with absence of workers. There were no workers there, and of course, it looks like people have already gotten the intel that this is the situation, and we stood there for some time. We didn't find anyone coming to seek services. However, when we went to the Ofori municipality, the situation was different because we met some staff there who say they were unaware of the strike action, and because of that, they had come. But upon receiving the information that they're on strike, they have decided to close down the office. Although they are around, they are not attending to persons who have come to seek for services. And so essential services such as client service, even the birth and death registry of the municipalities have been closed down. And one symbolic indicative symbol that you could see when you go to the municipality are red banners. They have fixed red banners on their on the offices. And so before you get to the premises of the municipality, you sense that there is something wrong.
Let's listen to some of the individuals you spoke to.
Condition of service. Nti oba I want say they read the abobo yina no kwani nyina no. Nti national and your Ofori municipal assembly nko.
Ken, what he's saying is that the Ofori is also observing the strike action, and it's no different from what we have seen in other municipalities. In fact, earlier when we were at the Asokwa municipality, the place was deserted. In fact, there was no staff was around. We didn't even see the receptionist.
A normal day in Asokwa municipal assembly, if you come, you will see a lot of people coming in and going up and down. But looking at the situation now, it's just dull. Everything is standstill. So no one in the office. Right now I'm talking to you. Like I was saying, maybe one of two of them, Thursday when we were going home, they may forget to, let's say, arrange their fast. And they came in to arrange the fast and go home. Even some of them have come in early dawn and they left. So that is how it is going on right now. So nothing is going on in the assembly as we are talking.
When you say nothing is going on, what exactly? So the offices are closed, no services are being rendered?
Yeah, the offices are closed and no services is going on. Even some of them, 2 or 3 people came when I was sitting here and they asked me that they need assistance from environmental. I asked them that none of them has come to work. They are all at home because of the strike. So no one is there to assist them.
You heard some individuals my colleague Clinton Yaba was speaking to in the Ashanti region. And if we still have Clinton with us, you've also been engaging some staff. They showed up at work. What exactly was the explanation?
Well, they say that they were not aware of the strike action and they didn't anticipate that it would take full effect. And that was the reason they came to work today. However, learning of the new updates and the directive from their executives, they decided to also lay down their tools. And so they are at the offices, but they are not working. They will not attend to you. When you come, they will turn you away. And they say that they are firmly in support of the strike action and also the directions that have come from the executive that there are conditions of service which they have agreed with the government must be implemented as soon as possible, and they would solemnly back the executives in this strike action.
You're still listening to Top Story. Let me bring in now Ofori Samoa. He's a labor expert. I also have Frank Asedi-Bekwe. He is Deputy Ranking Member on Employment, Labor and Relations Committee in Parliament. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time. I would like to get confirmation as to who I lost. But then I would like to start with Ofori Samoa. He's a labor expert. This is the first time we're hearing that TUC is telling us that they cannot back an industrial action called for by CLOGSAG. You've been in the system for a while. You've even been in NLC before. Let us understand and appreciate the issues better.
Yes. Did you say TUC is saying they are unable to support the strike?
Yes,
Hello?
sir. I'm hoping you can hear me. Yes, I did. I said.
Yes,
I said that.
but in any case, this is a strike being declared by one union. And CLOGSAG is not part of TUC. So TUC can decide to declare a solidarity support for them if they buy into what they are doing. But if not, there is no compelling effect. And of course, it doesn't mean anything to the strike that is going on. They have tabled their grievances and they have declared to declare a strike on that. So all that they have to do is to make sure that the strike is situated lawfully within the governing laws, that is the Labor Act. Yeah, spells out the declaration of strike, how to go about it, and so on. But as for the support from TUC, Federation of Labor, or any other body, that does not really affect it.
But you agree that it is strange, really, that TUC, Mother Buddy, says they're not even aware of this industrial action by CLOGSAG?
Yeah, that is possible. You know, in the declaration of a strike, what the law requires is that a party declaring the strike, that is the employees, you have to notify your employers and then notify the National Labour Commission. There is no compelling law, statute, or convention which says that you should go and inform another union like TUC, Federation of Labour, or any other. So if they are saying they are not aware, it doesn't really mean anything. Unless if the two unions had agreed to fight a common cause, then one decides to take to strike while the other wants to negotiate or go for arbitration, then that is where they can claim that they don't have knowledge and they are surprised because after all, they were fighting the same cause. But what CLOGSAG is fighting now is not within what TUC or TUC is not part of their demands. They are fighting for the implementation of the conditions of service agreed upon between them and their employers. That is the civil service and the local government service. And that is not TUC. They are a different body altogether.
And then I'm just wondering, this dispute, we can trace it back to 2019. And it was supposed to take effect on the 1st of January 2025. Because you have served in LLC before, is there a reason why this administration may be struggling to, implement this MOU?
Oh, yes. It is possible that it involves money. You see, they agreed upon it in 2019, like you said. Why has it not been implemented all this while? It is because the government has at all times pleaded with them, day in, day out, declaration, threat of strike, one after the other, to postpone the implementation because it involves money. And of course, huge money. That is why, so the government, we have problem. We haven't got enough resources. And we are aware of, the current economic situation of the country. So I don't think that it's not surprising that the government has not implemented.
Well, so stay with me, and that's a question we're asking this tonight on Top Story. If government has signed two different MOUs with CLOGSAG, why go ahead and append your signature on a contract that you lack the financial muscle to implement? We'll get back to you, but let me bring in Frank Asiedu. I'm told I have him now. He's Deputy Ranking Member of Employment and Labour Relations and Pension Committee in Parliament. We appreciate your time here on Top Story. We're just hearing from TUC tell us that they are unaware of this CLOGSAG declared strike. I'd like to start with your initial reactions to that. Mr. Frank, can you hear me? Okay, it appears I don't have Mr. Frank's attention, but let me go back to Fosu Asamoah, who is still with us, and I'm hoping I have his attention. I was just finding out why government will indeed go ahead to sign two different MOUs with the labor unions, knowing fully well that they lack the financial muscle to implement it.
You see, the government will not sign an agreement when they are aware or they fully know that they are unable to implement it because they don't have the financial muscle. They must have signed it in anticipation, right, of some revenue inflows within a period which we have failed. But I don't think that the minister or anybody acting on behalf of government would deliberately commit a government to what it cannot do. No. So I'm sure that at the time of signing, they may have been expecting some inflows or some windfall somewhere, or an increase in productivity or a discovery of more oil or anything to cushion, the government's finances to be enabled and implemented, which may not have been realized. Yes, we know of at least the cocoa industry is an example. The prices were fixed last year. And along the line, the fluctuation and other things that have happened, they have to reduce the price on the world market, the dollar's performance, the securities. So a lot of things happen. But I'm not sure that at the time of the government signing the MOU with the CLOGSAG, they knew that they would not be able to do it and they signed it. No.
Okay. Mr. Ofosus, please stay with me. Let me bring in Frank Asedu. He's Deputy Ranking Member on Employment and Labour Relation and Pension Committee in Parliament. We appreciate your time here on Top Story. You warned government about this some weeks back. You warned that government should implement the conditions of service. Government failed, and now we have this on our hands. I'd like to start with your initial reaction. Mr. Frank, do I have your attention? Okay, it appears we don't have clear connection to Frank Asiedu. We'll still work the lines and try and get his attention. Whilst we're still at that, let me just give you a little background. This has been brewing, I told you, for a while now. It has been brewing as far back as 2019, and CLOGSAG has signed 2 different MOUs with government. Michael Ashali, you've been monitoring the whole CLOGSAG labor front issues, and their concerns is about neglect from government. They've been pushing this for years now. Government give assurances all the time and yet fail. For our audience wondering why we're here, give us a background.
So, firstly, we know that as far back as 2019, that was when this renegotiation of their conditions of service, together with some other MOUs that they signed with government. I mean, some insider information that I have is that baseline is that there's some disparities with some of the salaries that some people collect, although they are all collectively part of CLOGSAG, right? And in government, you also have this tiered remuneration scale. But it appears that depending on the department that you are paid either more or less. That if you belong to, quote unquote, a prestigious or a well-endowed financially institution, you'll be paid accordingly. But if you have the same grade or same qualification at the same level within the government sector, but you work in, say, a less endowed or financially prudent company, then you are more likely to be paid less. So you'd say have your colleague in another department who is paid more than you, and possibly that is one of the rifts that we're hoping to change with this MOU starting from 2025. So from 2019, this conversation had been going on, and then they finally managed to get government to sit and agree. It was supposed to take effect from the 1st of January 2025, but that did not happen. Because the current government, when they came, one of the things we know what they said was that, well, I need more time to look at some of these agreements before I can commit money to it, right? It's been 1 year since government asked for that moratorium, and we are still down the line. More than a year now, 3 more months after 1 year, and then they've still not been able to do this. What we know currently is that there's a crucial meeting that was called by the Employment Ministry, and they are hoping to convince CLOGSAG to call off this strike. What exactly will be said in this meeting, I'm not sure exactly, but we know that there's an impact across the country where people are struggling to access common government services. It's one of the things I'm sure the Employment Ministry will be hoping to truncate from this meeting this evening, Fostina.
And indeed, we just heard from CLOGSAG last week tell us that they had approval from and even assurances from the current Labour Minister, especially during his parliamentary vetting, Michael, if you recall, that he would deal with this matter, especially after he assumes office. Unfortunately, that issue has not been resolved. I still have Frank Asiedu with me, I'm told. Do I have clear connection to him now? Okay. Mr. Frank, we appreciate your time here on Top Story. You're Deputy Ranking Member on the Employment and Labour Committee in Parliament. I'd like to start with your initial reaction. Last week you warned about this. Unfortunately, it's beginning to bite hard.
Hello?
Mr. Frank, I can hear you loud and clear. I'm hoping you can hear me. I'd like to start with your reaction.
Respectfully on what? Because I didn't hear you well.
Okay. We're engaging you because you are deputy ranking on the Employment and Labour Committee. Last week, I recall the minority raised concerns. You were pressing on government to fulfill its commitment and ensure it implements the conditions of service, especially with the salary structure for CLOGSAG members. They have declared an indefinite strike. I'd like to start with your initial reaction.
Good evening, and I equally extend my greetings to the sons and daughters of whom have entrusted in me to go to Parliament and work on their behalf.
we think that unemployment is a national security threat, and issues with labor it should be tackled with sober reflections. Issues with labor should not be politicized, and we think that government should be sincere with the CLOGSAG, so that they can sit down and discuss issues devoid of disrespect and all that. Who admonish government to go by what they had agreed with CLOGSAG, and try as much as possible to meet CLOGSAG where their needs can be met. Because you see, this government is not being sincere with us. And this government tells us that whenever you want to talk about anything, this government says that, dollar is down. But that is not the reality on the ground. The average Ghanaian, the average worker in this country is suffering. And I think that it is high time government stops telling us that the dollar is down. Meanwhile, our purchasing power is dwindling. Look, government increased workers' salary by a paltry 9%. Government has increased electricity tariffs by 28%, water by 15%.
Okay.
So you see, government to come clear, and I'll propose that government should be real. Government should stop the partisan politicking.
Okay.
And meet with CLOGSAG so that this thing can be resolved.
Well, government is meeting with CLOGSAG as we speak. We're told that meeting is ongoing right here in Accra, and we're monitoring that. But let me just wrap up briefly with Cletus Awuni's regional treasurer for CLOGSAG in the Upper West region. My colleague Rafiq Salam interacted with TUC General Secretary General in that region, and he told us that they're not even aware. So I'd like to start with Cletus briefly. Just tell us why this is even important for you, this industrial action that you embarked on without notifying TUC.
A very good evening to your cherished listeners and then CLOGSAG members across the country. Let me state it clearly that CLOGSAG, we are independent on our own. We are not one of the union or the association that is under the umbrella of TUC. So when we are embarking on a nationwide strike action, we don't need to notify TUC that we want to go on strike, because we are not under their umbrella, we are on our own. So CLOGSAG is on its own, and it's when the National Executive Council decides on the matter that we should go on strike, then we declare the strike action. We don't have to. We are not under the umbrella of TUC.
And so with this industrial action, are you saying that you will not back down despite the whole country pleading on you to back down, at least go back to the negotiation table?
Well, I think we would have gotten to this level if government was really serious in discussing and then trying to resolve our concerns. Because we came this far because anytime there is a meeting scheduled to discuss this matter, everybody is reluctant. Government is reluctant to deal with the issue. And we see that it has been from one thing to the other, dodging. They don't want to hold a meeting and other things to engage us. And we are getting serious pressure from our members. The thing is long overdue. Something that was supposed to take effect January 2025. Look at how far we have gone. And so we are only expecting government to implement what was signed in the MOU.
Okay.
Whatever that we sign in that particular MOU before calling out the strike action in 2024, that is why we want it to be implemented.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Cletus. At this point in time, point well noted, we have to let you go, unfortunately. But we're just receiving information that meeting between CLOGSAG and government has ended inconclusively. Stephen Mensah, you're there for us. What can you report?
Well, Fostina, the meeting ended not too long ago. What we understand is that the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission is expected to come back tomorrow and meet with the Civil and Local Government Staff Association on the way forward. The Civil and Local Government Staff, after the meeting today, they indicate that they've spoken to Fair Wages and Salaries Commission and they would want their request be revised and reviewed by government before any decision on whether or not the strike should be halted or postponed is done.
Thank you so much, Stephen Menson. That's how we wrap up Top Story. Up next is Newsnight.
And tonight, government moves to prosecute former President Akufo-Addo's team over financial mismanagement of Cocoa Board, which has led to the institution's current liquidity challenges.
If Cocoa Board was any institution or any organization or any asset that is being sold on the market, nobody would buy. It has completely collapsed. It's bankrupt.
We have more from the Director of Presidential Initiatives in Agriculture and Agribusiness, Peter Buama Otukono. Also tonight, crude oil prices on the international market have crossed $100 per barrel, raising concerns about possible increases in fuel prices at the pumps. But how much should consumers prepare to pay in the next pricing window?
The next window will be very interesting. Look forward to that. Next window from 16th of March, Ghana will know what real marketing is. Last week, we were buying fuel, AGO at SREF at 6.5. Today, it's almost 8.
While some OMCs say they are already experiencing fuel shortages at the pumps, we'll find out why.
Also tonight, Mortuaries and Funeral Facilities Agency cracks down on errant mortuaries over serious violations, including using air conditioners to preserve dead bodies.
So far, we have shut down 2, and operation is still ongoing. Yes, if you go there, some of their issues for which enable us to close them down is about the environment, about their practitioners.
We'll be live on the ground as the agency serves notice they'll be hitting other regions to enforce standards in the mortuary industry.
In business,
fuel prices could hit as much as 17 Ghana cedis per litre next week if current development on the international market doesn't stabilize or improve.
In sports,
Santi Kotoko assistant coach apologizes to fans after crushing defeat to Kerala United.
And a bit later, pressure is mounting on government to pass the anti-witchcraft accusation bill as violence against elderly women rises across parts of the northern Ghana.
I can assure all stakeholders, if the minister does not do that, whatever we have to do as private members of parliament to ensure that this bill gets passed, we will do that.
The latest of these and many other stories are coming up in the next 60 minutes. Be a part of the show by sending us a WhatsApp on 055 1111 997. My name is Kenneth. Gyasi.
My name is Ofori.
We'll be back with the details shortly.
You know how much moms always say too much of everything is bad? But there's one too much mom actually approves of. Telecel's Too Much Broadband Bundle. This season, all you have to do is buy the 150 Ghana cedis Too Much Broadband Bundle in addition to your main broadband plan and get 150% bonus data. That's right.
Simply buy the 150 Ghana cedis Telecel Too Much Bundle in addition to your main broadband plan and receive 150% bonus data. Dial *900 hash, use the Telecel Play app or visit the Telecel website to buy now.
Telecel, connecting energies.
Couldn't sleep at night. Mosquitoes will be whining my ears, bugging me all night long. Till I got a remedy. Now I'll be spraying them away with holy insecticide spray. Me I go spray them away with holy insecticide spray. When I sleep, me da na ma da with holy insecticide spray.
Holy mosquito coil, holy multi-purpose insecticide spray. Ghana Kron Kron. For bulk purchase, call 0302 681582. This advert is FDA approved.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first port of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Kakweje, Osu near the Osu Cemetery, Temania Community 4, Takoradi opposite Vijay Mays Plaza, Cape Coast University Bookshop, Spintex Road near Absa Bank, Atomic Center Point Mall, Winneba University Campus, KNUST, the University Bookshop, and Santasi in Kumasi. You can also visit our shop online, www.kingdomstoreonline.com. Hurry while stock lasts. For further inquiries, contact us on 050-162-0810 or 0302-764-101. Email info@kingdomgh.com. Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited, where quality and affordability is assured. Terms and conditions apply.
There's always that friend, neighbor, or family who is always welcome at Iftar time. And of course, there is always enough tea, because tea isn't just for drinking, it's for catching up, cracking jokes, and sharing moments. Lipton tea, for togetherness and those warmly welcomed visits. Ramadan Kareem from Lipton.
This advert is FDA approved.
You're welcome back. Now, government says it has gathered sufficient evidence to prosecute members of the previous administration, led by former President Nana Akufo-Addo, of alleged mismanagement of the cocoa board. The alleged mismanagement led to liquidity challenges, resulting in delayed payments to cocoa farmers, which caused widespread outrage. In response, the government has introduced reforms, including a reduction in the cocoa farm gate price. Director of Presidential Initiatives in Agriculture and Agribusiness, Peter Buama Otukono, described the alleged mismanagement as, quote, crimes against humanity. He spoke in an exclusive interview with my colleague Gemma Apia.
They've moved in very aggressively, and they are doing that investigation. And I agree with the chief, who said that they must be prosecuted. Indeed, such levels of crimes are crimes against humanity and must not be left to stand.
But until you've finished the investigation, can you boldly say that they mismanaged Cocoa Board?
Oh, yes.
When you don't have any evidence?
Oh, yes.
Do you have
can
now?
Say that. But the evidence is available. If you don't have evidence, what are you investigating? Most of the decisions are criminal, and they smack of criminal maladministration of Cocoa Board, and it's most worrying. For example, if you look at the issue of cocoa sacks, Cocoa Board bought cocoa sacks that could last for 6 years, stored them in the warehouse, brought them to Ghana, stored them in the warehouse, and subsequently, every other year after they bought that, they made that purchase, they imported cocoa sacks, huge amounts of cocoa sacks, and left them at the port without clearing them, because their duties were also not being, they were not able to pay. Who does that to his country of death? Who causes this kind of mess? And you think this is not criminal?
So you have strong evidence to take them to court?
But the evidence is what I'm saying. The figures are there.
But why haven't you started the court processes yet?
The wheels of justice grinds very slowly, but certainly it gets there.
Well, he further stated that the alleged criminal actions of the former management have left Cocoa Board effectively bankrupt.
And if you look at the unaudited balance sheet, would realize that when you sell the assets of Cocoa Board, everything, including their chairs, their cars, their offices, Cocoa Hospital, Cocoa Clinic, and all those things, and you look at the debt they are owing, Cocoa Board will still be running deficits of about 3.9 billion Ghana cedi. That's how bad. If Cocoa Board was any institution or any organization or any asset that is being sold on the market, nobody would buy. It has completely collapsed. It's bankrupt. And so it is the bankruptcy that is the problem. The criminal acts are different matters that must be dealt with. But those criminal acts led to the bankruptcy. And because of the bankruptcy, government is not able to absorb as much as it would have loved to.
We've been listening to Peter Buama Otukono there. He's the Director of Presidential Initiatives in Agriculture and Agribusiness. In that interview with my colleague Gemma Apia, you can catch the entire interview on our various social media platforms, on Joy News, Joy FM, on X, Facebook, and on YouTube. Let's go on to the telephone lines right now and speak to the ranking member on the Food, Agriculture, and Cocoa Affairs Committee, Isaac Yao Opoku. There, Isaac, grateful for your time this evening. We've been listening to Dr. Otukono, who says Cocoa Board is bankrupt because of the mismanagement of the previous administration. How do you react to that?
Thank you very much for having me. We heard about these stories right from day one, when they took office in 2025. That was January 7, 2025. You were giving handing over notes. I'm wondering why they keep saying the same thing all over again. If somebody has committed any crime, they should take that person to court. They have not paid the cocoa farmer since November. That is the issue at stake. I don't know why they are shifting the goalposts every now and then. Are they saying that when they handed over in 2017, they handed over a clean slate? Is that what they are saying? They are doing audits. Whether it's forensic audits or normal audits. I'm pleading with the auditors that they should come clear and tell us how much debt they accumulated before they handed over and how much, debts Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's government also added on. They are creating the impression as if, every mismanagement, every debt in Cocoa Board was all as a result of Nana Addo Dankwa's regime. That is not true. That is not fair. So whatever audit they are doing, they should be able to segregate. They should tell us how much, that they accumulated before they handed over and how much has been added on.
Isaac, just last week you raised concerns that the cocoa farmers had not been paid, and this was the response Peter Otukono gave to my colleague Gemma Apia when she asked him about the payments. I want you to hold on and listen to this. I'll come back to you shortly.
The last 2 weeks after the announcement, when the president directed that we should raise money for them, about 4 billion Ghana cedi have been released to the LBCs. In fact, last 3 days, I spoke to the president of the Licensed Cocoa Buyers Association, and he told me that they have received the monies and they've started dispersing the monies. And the process is still on. As we speak today, the value of the payment could even change because as at yesterday, they were still processing the payments. And we are hopeful that in the next 2-3 weeks, we will be able to absorb all those outstanding debts owed to the farmers. Then the rest of the season, the LBCs can use their margins to buy at the 2,000.
So if the minority is saying that the cocoa farmers have not received the monies, government is not to blame because you've already disbursed the monies to the LBCs. Is that what you're saying? Government
has done the payments to most of the LBCs, not all of them. And remember, when the money hits their accounts, they have a long process of, it's a very complex process of disbursing to the various communities.
How complex is it?
The cocoa farmers are not sitting in one room like my office here, and you just go and give them the money. They are scattered across the country.
Dr. Opoku, your response?
Since when did the process become complex? You see, that's what I'm saying. The excuses are becoming one too many. They are becoming one too many. The emergency cabinet meeting was on Wednesday, the 11th of February. Almost 1 month now. And cocoa farmers have not been paid. You see, even the reduced price, the 2,587, farmers are not being paid. And if we should go by Dr. Otukono's narration, that they have released 4 billion, which I doubt though, but if we should take his word, to be the gospel truth, the Cocoa Board Chief Executive himself, he told our committee that they are owing the license buying companies in excess of 11 billion. That was 5th February. He told our committee 5th February that they were owing the license buying companies in excess of 11 billion. I hope they have not accumulated any further debt. But if the amount is even the same and you have paid 4 billion, the outstanding is 7 billion. When is the last cocoa farmer going to receive payment? And you can call cocoa farmers direct if you have the capacity. For every 10 farmers that you call, if 9 of them have been paid, call me a liar. If 9 out of 10, if 1 out of 10 have been paid,
you mean 10%?
Call me a liar.
You mean 10%?
They are not paying the cocoa farmers, even at the reduced price of 2,587. They are not paying. And you see, the irony is that now even farmers cannot sell their produce, what they have produced. No license buying company is prepared to take any further produce. So they cannot sell. They cannot even get access to juice sacks. They cannot. They are storing their produce in used fertilizer bags. That is the situation at the moment.
Right. I want to thank you very much. But before you go, though, my colleague Pearl has a question for you. Okay, that's okay. Thank you. Dr. Isaac Yao Opoku is the ranking member on the Food, Agric and Cocoa Affairs Committee.
Now let's bring you other stories. And the global oil market is once again on edge. Crude oil prices crossed $100 per barrel earlier today as the conflict in the Middle East enters its 10th day, raising concerns about supply disruptions and the ripple effect on economies around the world, including Ghana. The spike has triggered fresh anxiety among energy industry players in the country who say the next fuel pricing window could bring higher prices for consumers. The chairman of the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, COMAC, Dr. Rivers Nopon, warned last week that the situation could worsen if the conflict continues.
The next window will be very interesting. Look forward to that. Next window from 16th of March, Ghana will know what real marketing is. I'm about to tell you today. Last week, we were buying fuel, AGO at SREF at 6.5. Today, it's almost 8. Is MPA controlling that? No, they can't control it. They can't control that. OMCs that were able to lock in products have gained. But if you could not lock in products and you are buying today from the market, bro, next week I said it will be very interesting. Now, MPA and COMAC is not forcing OMCs not to discount. Let's also debunk that, all right? We are not saying that nobody cannot discount. You can discount, but then the discount flow through all your networks.
That's impossible anyway. You agree with me that that's impossible, right?
Why is it not possible? It is possible. Now,
Dr. Rivers, you know the cost involved in discounting. If you are discounting across, let's say, an OMC that has over 200 stations across the length and breadth of the country and you want this to be uniform, simply that comes with heavy cost, especially for an OMC that is still charging, say, the floor price.
See, my brother, some OMCs are already discounting and across the entire network.
And you heard that the chairman of the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, Dr. Rivers Nopon, will be speaking to him later in the bulletin with regards to this story.
But in the meantime, though, let's go back onto the telephone lines and speak to Collins Adumaku-Mensah. He's the ranking member on the Energy Committee of Parliament. Mr. Adumaku-Mensah, grateful for your time this evening. Early today, we got confirmation that a barrel or fuel prices have crossed $100 per barrel, and there are fears that it's going to trickle down home. What do you make of that?
Well, let me do some correction. I'm the deputy ranking on the Energy Committee. When I saw the the current price this morning at dawn when I woke up, I was scared. Your guess as good as mine. I mean, these are private business owners who bring in finished products. And as you know, the best they could do is to forward that cost to the final consumer. So, as Reverson said, next week is going to be an interesting week. The next pricing window is going to be very interesting. But as you know, the price of crude plays a key role in determining the pump price. And as it goes up, obviously they will pass on that extra cost to the final consumer. I anticipate that the price is going to move up to 15 to 16 cedis. But it is my hope that the situation in the Gulf is brought to a level where everybody will be comfortable. For now, I think the information we are getting from there is quite explosive.
And Collins, what do you think the government response should be in the wake of the crude oil price crossing over $100 per barrel to at least cushion consumers?
Well, the difficulty is that for the prices on the international markets, government cannot control that. Government's only major control is how it takes care of the levies and taxes that are part of the calculation of the pump price. So at this stage, is government going to temporarily suspend some taxes or levies on petroleum products in order to cushion the final consumer? That is a decision that government has to take. Again, we are told that we have about 5 to 7 weeks of fuel left. And unfortunately, the fuel left belongs to private individuals. So the conversation about having a strategic reserve, which BOST was established to do, has come up strongly. I think government should look at that and see whether going forward they will refocus BOST attention to its core mandate of being a strategic reserve. If BOST was doing what it was supposed to do, and in this case, I'm not blaming this government, it's been a problem with successive governments. I think by now, BOST should have had some accumulation and then push that onto the market, at least to cushion the consumer for some period of time. We are hearing other countries like China and the rest that have about a year reserve. Some have about 6 months. Unfortunately, we have about just 7 weeks, and that is quite scary.
Right. So does that mean that even with the weeks-long reserves that we have, it is still going to affect us if the prices keep going this way?
Unfortunately, my brother, I have to say yes, because as you know, the pricing window is done every 2 weeks. And by the end of the 2 weeks, fresh products have to be bought or brought in. Those fresh products will have to be bought at the new current crude price. And then even if a BDC has some reserves, being a business person, if he sells at the old price, he cannot go and buy new one at the higher price. So obviously they are going to charge a higher price, take advantage of that in order for them to have extra money to go and buy new stock at $100 per barrel. So it's unfortunate, but I have to answer negatively that yes, it's going to affect us.
Collins Adomako Mensah is the Deputy Ranking Member on the Energy Committee of Parliament. Thank you very much.
And cannot we bring in listeners a lot on the story as we go on in the bulletin, because you know that earlier the OMC said they were experiencing some fuel shortages at the pumps. We'll be speaking to Comac on it later in the bulletin.
Right. And to other stories this evening, the Mortuaries and Funeral Facilities Agency is cracking down on errant mortuaries in the Western North region over various infractions. Japa Funeral Home, Inche, and Asankragwa Government Hospital mortuaries were shut down over various irregularities. The facilities were operating without due registration, using air conditioner instead of compressors, and registered staff, unconducive environment, among others. In a compliance exercise carried out by the agency, mortuary registers and funeral facilities, Francis Enin said the morgues will remain closed until they complied with the regulations.
The exercises, we want them to be compliant. Each and every facility should register with us and should pay for inspection so that we give them a license to operate as a mortuary so that they can do what is expected of them. So far, in Western North region, we have shut down 2, and the operation is still ongoing. Yes, if you go there, some of their issues for which enable us to close them down is about the environment, about their practitioners, the people that are practicing as mortuary attendants and processors and others. They need to register with us so that they are known. So when something happens, they can be held responsible. And we want them also to adhere to public health issues. That is our main objective of organizing this exercise. We frown over those things. We don't want them to put any food crop around a mortuary. We want them to keep the place neat. And what we have seen is not only related to that facility alone. Most of them have been doing. So we've ordered them not to grow crops around the mortuaries. So they are going to cut the plantains and then the cassava around. They are going to cut them down.
Right, and you can be a part of this show by sending us a WhatsApp on 055 11 11 997. Let's hear your thought. What do you think about the stories we've been sharing with you so far? Fuel prices across $100 per barrel on the world market, and other interesting stories that we've been bringing you this evening here on Newsnight. This bulletin, remember, is live on Joe 99.7 FM in Accra. We're also live across over 30 affiliates in the country. And in other stories this evening, the Ghana Education Service is warning teachers who leave their duty posts during official school hours to visit the school's headquarters or grant media interviews to desist from doing so or face disciplinary action under the absence from duty provisions of its code of ethics. Dozens of 2024 recruited teachers have staged protests several times outside the headquarters of the Ghana Education Service in Accra, demanding that the immediate release of their staff identification numbers and payment of salaries arrears owed them be paid. In a statement, the service urged the teachers to comply with established administrative procedures. And Pearl is here. She's been going through the statement by the GES. And Pearl, what does the GES want teachers to channel their concerns to?
Well, it says that teachers with concerns regarding any issue are required to first lodge concerns with their heads of schools and subsequently escalate them through the district and regional directorate as appropriate. Well, the national office engages directly with regional directorates and legally recognized teacher unions duly registered under the laws of Ghana.
And Pearl, the Ghana Education Service also gave a directive on regional directors. Give us details.
Well, it says that management therefore directs all regional directors to supervise district directors and heads of schools to ensure strict compliance with this directive. District directors and heads of schools must record any instance of teacher absenteeism and report it to management. Any teacher recorded on video or audio engaging media houses or found at the headquarters during official school hours will be held accountable, together with the head of the school and the district director responsible.
And the Education Service has also addressed the substantive concern of the teachers who picketed.
Well, yes, management says it acknowledges the significant progress made in clearing inherited backlogs and streamlining processing systems. However, any outstanding matters affecting individual staff must be addressed through the established administrative channels rather than through confrontational approaches directed at the headquarters or the media. And it goes on to say that such actions disrupt the focus, attention and work of management.
Thank you. You're still listening to Newsnight here on Joy 99.7. We return from the break with more. Don't go anywhere.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Shout! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information.
MTN. Are you ready to revolutionize the future of agriculture? The Ministry of Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, in partnership with the Ghana Exim Bank, proudly presents the Ghana Agrotech Fair 2026. The fair will feature exhibitions, market linkages, masterclasses, and workshops on climate-smart farming, digital tools, and export development. Join us at the Black Star Square from March 17 to March 19 at 9 a.m. each day. The President of the Republic, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, will be assisted by the Minister for Trade, Agribusiness and Industry, the Honorable Elizabeth Ofosue-Jari, and the Chief Executive of the Ghana Exim Bank, Honorable Sylvester Adina Mensah, to open the fair. Government agencies, agrotech firms, startups, farmers, financial institutions, and the general public are all welcome. To exhibit or for inquiries, call 0559 679326 or 0242 585419. Media partners: Daily Graphic, Media General, Radio Gold, City FM, Channel 1 TV, and the Multimedia Group. Ghana Agrotech Fair 2026, transforming agribusiness through local innovation and technology.
Cast your mind back to 2022. The prices were rising. The stress was high. Every liter of fuel felt like a sacrifice. Do you remember who stepped forward first? When others were comfortable with high prices, Star Oil chose you. We cut our own profits so you could keep your AC on, keep your engines running, and keep your life moving without the heavy burden. We gave you room to breathe when things felt tight. Because of you, our star savers, we became number one. Today, the pumps are a battleground. Others are finally cutting prices because they have to. But Star Oil, we do it because we want to. Don't just chase a price, remember a friendship. We were there for you then, and with new innovations coming your way, we are here for you now. Star Oil, still quality and affordable fuels for all.
If you want quality, this be where you belong. Hey, tough, hey, strong. Oh, gonna shout and sing the song. When the sun they hot, syntax no break. When the rain they fall, still no shake. Builders they choose and plumbers they prove. Any project you they start.
When nations rise, it begins with bold conversations. When economies grow, it is driven by partnership. This April, Ghana's business and policy leaders converge at the Kwewu Business Forum 2026, the nation's premier platform for investment, enterprise, and economic transformation. With special guest of honor, His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, joining captains of industry, financial institutions, investors, and entrepreneurs.
The Kwewu Business Forum is more than just an event. It is a call to action. And so let us work together to build a Ghana that is competitive, productive, and inclusive, and a Ghana that creates opportunities for all.
Come, let's engage in high-level dialogue, explore industry exhibitions, build powerful networks, and unlock real opportunities from finance and insurance to manufacturing, agribusiness, SMEs, and innovation. This is where it all happens. From the 3rd to the 5th of April, 2026, at the Kwewu Convention Center, ATBA, go to www.kwewubusinessforum.com and register now. To register for exhibitions, call 059 555 5885 or 059 555 5995. Kwewu Business Forum. Connect, promote, grow.
You're welcome back. Let's take you to our earlier story where the Ghana Education Service has warned teachers who leave their duty post during official school hours to visit the service's headquarters or grant media interviews to desist from doing so or face disciplinary action under the absence from duty provisions of its code of conduct. And speak to the public relations officer at the Ghana Education Service, Daniel Fenyi. Daniel, there are already concerns that this statement that was released by your outfit is an attempt to gag teachers. No?
Indeed. Thank you for the opportunity. It is never an attempt to gag teachers. Ghana Education Service is a very democratic institution. It is an institution that is very open to conversations, discussions, very open. You know, we work with human beings, individuals, teachers, students, parents, and different categories of stakeholders. We listen to all the different categories of stakeholders and work with their concerns, except to say that in recent times, there has been this trend where you receive one concern, you are on it, addressing it, solving it. The next day, another sprinter small group will come up that they also have a problem. They storm the various offices, disrupt activities. You take their concerns, give them assurance that you are working on them. The next day, you see another sprinter, small sprinter group, unidentifiable faces who would make different claims. And so it is becoming a trend. And the observation is that all these activities usually happen during official school hours. In other words, these are periods that you would expect the teacher to be in a classroom or to be with the students. And so what management is thinking is that if a teacher has any genuine concerns, let the teacher still be in school. There are administrators, there are staff of the Ghana Education Service who are actually paid to make follow-ups on concerns of teachers, submit documents of teachers, make sure teachers are satisfied. We are urging teachers to leave the follow-ups, to leave the expression of their concerns to those paid staff to follow up for them. Who are those paid staff? They are the head teachers of the schools. These are people who don't teach. Theirs is to make sure they manage, they run the various schools. And by managing the schools, we mean making sure the welfare of the teachers are sent to management, the concerns of teachers are taken and recorded and taken to the next level. What is the next level? District directors of education or directorates. Every single district in the country has a district directorate of education. None of the staff there teaches. They are all paid every month just to make sure the documentation of teachers, concerns of teachers are taken and forwarded. Let's assume at that level too, the concerns are not addressed. We have regional, every single region in this country has regional directorate of education. They are also paid to make sure concerns of teachers are taken, registered, and forwarded to the appropriate quarters. If we begin to tolerate the sidestepping of these regulatory institutions, these bodies that are paid to follow up for teachers, do the bidding of teachers, then we may end up collapsing the very institution that we are serving. If all teachers would abandon their duty or would abandon the students in the classroom, leave their duty posts and march directly to headquarters to register their concerns, then what would the head teachers be doing? What would the district directorates be doing? What would the regional directorates be doing? And so we feel that instead of teachers combining classroom activities with follow-ups of their concerns, we believe they should focus on their classroom business and then leave the follow-ups to the various school leaders, district and regional directorates to do that for them.
Daniel, there are concerns also that why don't you deal then with the people who are in charge of, relaying the problem of these teachers if they feel that these problems are not being dealt with enough? Why don't you deal with the superiors rather than target the teachers?
In fact, we are dealing with the superiors as well. So if you observe the letter closely, we mention that when teachers are not or leave their duty post, the head teacher of the school, the district directorates in the district will be held accountable as well. Because we believe that it will imply if a teacher has to leave their duty post, and walk to headquarters, it would imply that the head teacher didn't do his work well, or the district director didn't do their work well. And so we are not only talking about or to our dear teachers, we are talking to our administrators as well.
Right.
That they set up, record the concerns of our teachers, and make sure that those concerns come to the appropriate management in time.
Thank you very much. Daniel Fenny speaks for the Ghana Education Service. It's now time for business, and George Riafe is here with the latest. George, what have you got for us?
Well, Kenneth, coming up in business, Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies warn fuel prices could reach about 17 Ghana cedis per litre if a current development on the international market doesn't normalize. And Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Johnson Isiama highlights critical measures taken to diversify the country's record international reserves, as well as build the necessary resilience to be able to withstand the necessary shocks. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essentials. Synthesis tanks and Pepsodent, Herbal and Charcoal.
It's been projected that if by Wednesday things are not calmed down, even though America really wants to calm down now.
Apologies for that. Let's now settle for the details. The Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies has warned that fuel prices could reach 17 Ghana cedis per litre from next Monday. That is, if the current record price of crude oil doesn't reduce to lower levels in the coming days. Chief Executive of the Chamber, Dr. Revisnopon, has been speaking to Joy Business.
It's been projected that if by Wednesday things are not calmed down, even though America really wants to calm down now, that's as to whether Iran wants it, nobody can tell. We are going to hit around 110 to 120. If we pick the triggering price that we are seeing from the buyers or from the BDCs today to the oil marketing companies, just looking at that factor alone in the SREP, we should hit above 15 cedis, between 15 to 17 cedis, depending on where you buy your fuel from, or depending on where any OMC bought or traded its fuel price from, because we are sourcing from different places and it could be different. Okay, and this is based on what we know today. By Thursday, we will come back and give you how the outlook from the system will be like.
And that is the Chief Executive of the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, Dr. Revisnopon.
Also, George, on the back of that, earlier some of the OMCs were talking about, they're experiencing significant challenges in loading their products. What's the update on that?
Well, you're right on that one, because some of these OMCs at that time attributed to what they call the ICAM system that aids in the taxation issues and tax collections and all those things. But you realize that the Chamber came back to explain that it is not the ICAM's platform, but rather a different platform that is supposed to help with these collection, or call it loading of fuel for these oil marketing companies. And as we speak right now, that challenge has been actually resolved, and seeing how they can decouple the ICAM's platform from the other platform that is supposed to help with the loading of this petroleum product. And therefore, they're expecting that going forward, actually, the situation should normalize when it comes to supply of petroleum products. However, it appears that some of the bulk oil distributing firms, and I use the word some, these are companies that import these products into the country. They're able to store it and then sell it directly to the oil marketing companies. It appears that some of them are not selling it to the OMCs. Some of them have hiked their prices. Some of them are trying to possibly hold the products in anticipation of quite a significant hike. Don't forget that if you sell that product now, you're going back to the market to buy at a higher price. So how do you manage the situation to ensure that you don't end up making some serious losses when the next window opens for you to bring in a product? And that is where we've seen that happening. And that is also impacting on the supply of product for some of the oil marketing companies.
Good news, George.
Two other stories. The Ghana Union of Trade Association has ruled out that its members are increasing prices due to the war in the Middle East. The development has seen several goods set for Ghana locked up in Dubai, which could impact on loans that they've borrowed from these commercial banks. Clement Boateng is president of the Ghana Union of Trade Association, and he has been speaking to Joy Business.
And I also want to take this opportunity to assure the Ghanaian public that nobody should be worried that prices are going to be increased.
That is an assurance.
That is an assurance.
You have a word from Guterres. We hear that because of Iran war, prices are going up.
No. We are not going to increase any price. We haven't reached there yet. And it is everybody's prayer that this war should quickly come to an end so that we will get our normal, supply chain, we will get our normal logistics for business, to come back to normal. But for now, there is no any increment of prices. That one, Ghanaian public must be assured for that.
Clement Boateng is the president of the Ghana Union of Traders Association. Now, the Bank of Ghana Governor Dr. Johnson Isiama has highlighted some critical measures that has been taken to diversify the country's record international reserves. The governor said this when he led a technical team from the Bank of Ghana to brief members of the Economy and Development Committee of Parliament today. There is more in this report.
Governor of the Bank of Ghana during the meeting noted this move is part of measures to try and strengthen Ghana's external buffers by making it resilient and well diversified. The governor also revealed that through what he will describe as sustained accumulation under the program, gold holdings increased significantly, reaching over 40 tons by October 2025. Dr. Johnson Isiama also revealed that 42% of Ghana's gross international reserves by October 2025 is gold. While gold remains an important reserve asset, such a high concentration in a single asset class introduces portfolio concentration risk for countries like Ghana. He noted that the bank undertook a measured portfolio rebalancing, converting a portion of its gold holdings into foreign exchange assets in order to restore a more balanced reserve composition.
And that is a Business Tech report. And that's all for Business on Newsnight. And it appears that Pearl is really worried if these projections are anything to go by, that crude prices, petroleum prices, petrol, diesel, could reach 17 Ghana cedis per litre.
Aren't we all? That reminds us of the dark days of 2022 when the Ukraine-Russia war began, doesn't it?
Well, let's pray that things normalize in the coming days.
We hope so. It's now time for sports, and Benaya is here with the latest. Benaya, what do you have for us?
And Kumasi and South Kotoko assistant coach Hamza Obeng has expressed regret to the club's supporters following a disappointing 1-0 defeat to Kerala United on Sunday. Now the Porcupine Warriors traveled to the Aliu Muhammad Stadium for their match day 25 clash in the Ghana Premier League. The home side's victory came courtesy of a first-half goal from Malik Abubakar after Kotoko's Henry, and so he received a red card in the 40th minute. Now, speaking after the game, Obeng apologized to the fans and urged the team to focus on the challenge ahead, despite their recent form.
To strategize on how to, overcome them, not to concede at that end, and also we wanted to use that opportunity to, equalize and then add up another goal. Unfortunately for us, the plan couldn't work, especially to get goal. But how to, maintain our shape and keep our structure in the second half, it works perfectly for us. We need to go back and then work more in our coming game. I'll say we are sorry for losing this game, but it's not over yet. We are preparing towards our next game, of which we are going home to, organize ourselves well back at training grounds, and then also during our game matches to get our win. So that it will not be a normal win. We need to get a massive win so that the supporters will also, get the confidence in us as well.
That's Coach Hamza Obeng there, and that's it for the sports segment. Over to you, Kenneth.
Well, thank you very much, Benaya, but don't go yet. You see, you have, I don't know, you've spoken about Man U, sir. You see, they lost the other time. Don't talk about Man U again next when you come here.
But you say you're a Madrid fan, so...
Yes, I am, but...
I should start talking about Madrid.
No. Thank you.
In other stories tonight, the Minister for Health, Kwabena Akando, says government paid a total of 2.6 billion cedis to the National Health Insurance Scheme in 2025. The amount is to settle debts and claims raised by service providers as of last year. Well, he made the revelation while answering questions on the floor of Parliament. First, listen to him as he bemoaned the consistent accumulation of debt and that the NHIS in the previous government, indicating that a total of 5.68 billion cedis was the claim paid from 2020 to 2023.
Mr. Speaker, the claims paid over the period were as follows. 1.372 billion million in 2020, 1.1 in 2021, 963 in 2022, and 2.2 in 2023. This shows a decline in payment up to 2022, before a significant rebound in 2023. Mr. Speaker, I have given a table that speaks for itself. And so, for example, Mr. Speaker, we have the year, claims expenditure, claims paid, portion of the payment relating to that year, and portions of payment relating to previous years. So the honourable member may follow it carefully. So, Mr. Speaker, in 2020, whilst the claim expenditure was 1 billion in 2020, the Speaker, about 1.3 billion was paid. But, Mr. Speaker, only 473 million was respect to 2020. The rest were arrears. I hope Mr. Speaker is following. Good. Mr. Speaker, so we'll move to 2021. Mr. Speaker, when you go to 2021, whilst the claims expenditure is about 1.1 billion, claims paid is also 1.1 billion, but Mr. Speaker, claims relating to 2021 that was paid was 469 million. What does it mean? It means we're piling up arrears. Mr. Speaker, in 2022, the claims payment was 1.6 billion. Amount paid was 963. Out of the 963 that was paid, only 328 million was with respect to 2022. What it means was that we're piling arrears. Mr. Speaker, again, when we came to 2023, it was 1.8, and then 2.2 was paid, and the proportion with respect to 2023 was 1.1, whilst the rest was the arrears. So, Mr. Speaker, over the years, we've been piling up arrears. And this is what we are doing differently. Mr. Speaker, now the narrative is different. We are no more piling arrears. We are paying on time. We are paying promptly.
Well, the minister also said that 1.5 billion cedis was disbursed to the Mahama Cares Initiative. Here is his interaction with the minority leader, Alexander Apenyomakin.
Mr. Speaker, based on these, I want to ask the Honourable Minister whether this answer suggests that 2025 payment claims have been paid to date.
Yes. Mr. Speaker, as far as I know, all claims that have been submitted to the National Health Insurance Authority without issues have been settled. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, the minister claims that there is a 2,688.6 million as total claims paid to service providers. Is that correct? The figure?
Yes, Minister. The Speaker, the amount stated as read by the Honourable Minority Leader should actually be in billions and not in millions. Thank you. Very well.
The 2.6 billion payment, you say in the same year. There is some ambiguity, so I want clarification. Is it for the payment that you made for that particular year only, or it is for the entire period up to the end of 2025 financial year?
It included the arrears we came to meet.
You heard that the Minority Leader Alexander Penyamakan speaking to the Health Minister Kwabena Mintakanda. Let's bring in our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent, James Aveji. So, James, we had the two leaders there. What else happened in Parliament today?
Unfortunately, we've lost James Aveji on the line there. But in other stories this evening, as rainfall patterns grow heavier and more unpredictable across southern Ghana, commercial drivers who ply the Kaswa Toll Booth Road say every downpour now tends to stretch into a death trap. Floodwaters regularly submerge large sections of the road, forcing vehicles to crawl through waterlogged portions while hitting potholes beneath the surface damage engines. For many who depend on this corridor daily, the rainy season has become a season of anxiety. There is more in today's episode of Climate Evidence. A commercial driver of 23 years, every dark cloud carries a quiet warning. Last year, as floodwaters gathered near Atala Junction at the old barrier, he tried to cross, hoping to beat the rising current.
One day, me parking my car in my parking office.
I parked my car at the station once and left. It rained and there was a flood. My car got destroyed and it took me 6 months to fix it before resuming work.
Climate experts say the intensity of rainfall events in coastal Ghana has increased in recent years, overwhelming drainage systems and road infrastructure that were designed for lower volumes of water. But Kingsley's story is not isolated. Drivers say the real danger lies beneath the surface. Floodwaters conceal deep potholes carved into the weakened road.
When it rains, there's heavy flood and we are unable to work.
According to NADMO, extreme rainfall events are becoming more frequent and hence due to climate change.
Because the bonding that holds the particles of the hill together are weakened by the human activity. So anytime there's rainfall, it serves as a lubricant. It lubricates the particles and then they slide onto the road and block the road.
Right, that's today's Climate Evidence there. And let's bring you some of the messages you've been sending to our WhatsApp platform. This is Matilda Ama from Keta, and she says, where is this freedom? There must also be justice. Thank you, the ruling NDC government and President John Mahama, for the research agenda that is helping us as a country. Yes, NDC really means unity, stability, and development. And this is from Francis in Accra. He says, to the CLOGSAG leadership, they can go on strike till Jesus comes. Even nurses went, Ghanaians did not die. All they know is to go on strike for salary increment and neutrality allowance. Can they bring such attitude and knowledge by service they provide to the private sector and demand what they want from government? Why didn't MPP give them what they wanted in 2019? Are they the only workers in Ghana? This is from Gyasi in Sakumono. He says, Peter Boama Otukono should please spare us the talk and tell his government to act. Less talk, more action. The Cocoa Board allegations have taken too long to see the light of day. What has become of the cacophony about the ECG and its apparent mismanagement by the former heads we were told about last year? That's a question Gyasi is asking. Edem from Alnoga in Kumasi says the NDC is handling the MPP with kid's glove. This is why they have the guts to talk the way they are talking. The MPP ran Ghana as their insuomunam business. It is better the NDC get serious and hold the MPP government to account. Those are some of the messages you've been sending to our WhatsApp platform, and that's all time we'll allow for Newsnight tonight. Thank you very much for being a part of the show. My name is Kenneth. Gyasi.